Did y'all know that the government just declared 400 years of the African American slavery? So what should that tell you? That the white people, America, and the other nations know that you are a slave. You are an indentured servant to America. We still in the land of captivity, as the Bible said. So I want to read something. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get into that right now, because we're gonna talk about the HR 1242. Because America just declared it, that the African Americans been over here as servants, and they're gonna try to give us some kind of contribution, talk about our contribution to America and what we built up. So I want my brother to read this right quick, because this is it, man. If we don't follow and read up on what's going on, we won't know. But the Bible clearly says that we are slaves. But I want my brother to read it. That's too small for you? You can go to another one. Oh, you got it? Go ahead. Wait, let's let the fire truck go by. Because our people need to hear this. Hear about their slavery. Hear about what's going on. Oh boy. Because a lot of people today, y'all don't know y'all slaves, right? Y'all don't know that y'all have an oppressor over y'all, right? Yeah, she said, yeah, I know, but everybody don't know. We think we free. You said what? Come here, ma'am. Come here, ma'am. Please, please. You said your daddy was what? But was he a slave? He was a slave to who? Hold up. Say that loud. She said her daddy was a slave to Mississippi, to the white man. So people always talking about our slavery ain't real. Our slavery is real because you still got living proof walking around saying that my daddy was a slave in Mississippi to the white man, to the Masons. And we come out here and tell you right out of the Bible that you was a slave. And it's recorded in history that you was a slave. And now we're going to read about America, Trump, recognizing us being in slavery for 400 years and the African Americans' contribution to this country. Go ahead, read that.
This is HR 1242. Public law number 115-102.
Hold up, it said public law. So the white man know, which my brother went into earlier about the Constitution, that the blacks, the African Americans, the Latinos, and the Native Americans, we are not considered human beings. But this is public law. Go ahead.
400 years of African American History Commission Act.
It said the 400 years of African American Commission Act. This is a law. This is in paper. This is in writing by the so-called white man telling you, hey, African Americans, Latinos, Native Americans, you still a slave. Go ahead. Huh? Oh, I'm gonna get the scripture, but we got to get it right here so our people will know. Huh? Go ahead.
Section 3. This bill establishes the 400 years of African American history.
It said it established the 400 years of African American history right here in America. Go ahead.
To develop and carry out activities throughout the United States to commemorate the 400th anniversary of the arrival of Africans in the English colonies at Point Comfort, Virginia in 1619.
It said it's going to commemorate the African Americans' arrival here in America. Hold that. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28:68, and we're going to see how we arrived in America. You got it? Deuteronomy 28 verse 68, right there. Yep.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Egypt is a Greek word that means bondage. When we were in Jerusalem, all you have to do is walk. But we came during the time of the transatlantic slave trade in the 1600s, which the law states. We came on cargo slave ships, just as the Bible said, and as America recognizes. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies.
It said we're going to be sold to our enemies. Who bought us after we came over here on cargo slave ships? The white man bought us. Go ahead.
For bondmen and bondwomen.
They made us slaves. That's what a bondman is a slave. They enslaved the men and the women. Go ahead.
And no man shall buy you.
Can't nobody rescue us out of this slavery, but America recognizes our 400 years of bondage here in America, just as the Bible said. Now go ahead. Go ahead, you ready?
The commission must plan programs to acknowledge the impact that slavery and laws that enforce racial discrimination.
It said the commission must enforce law. Man, read that one more time. I don't want to butcher it. All right?
The commission must plan programs to acknowledge the impact that slavery and laws that enforce racial discrimination had on the United States.
It said, man, read it one more time. Right?
The commission must plan programs to acknowledge the impact that slavery and laws that enforce racial discrimination had on the United States.
So, in order for them to enforce this will have to let you know that something is wrong with these people. Because war veterans, they go to war and they come back with post-traumatic stress. We coming through slavery, post-traumatic slave syndrome. Now they talking about they need to talk about the slavery that the Americans went through, that the African Americans went through, recognizing the hellish conditions that they put us through. But I'm going to get into it because it's going to be justified. But go ahead.
The commission must encourage civic, patriotic, historical, educational, artistic, religious, and economic organizations to organize and participate in anniversary activities.
So what anniversary activities are they going to work put together for us? Besides letting other people know that they had us in slavery for 400 years. It's nothing they can put in place. But we're going to show you, because I went here to show you that we are still in bondage. That Bible prophecy is indeed coming true. It's in the Bible, and that we, African Americans, Latinos, Native Americans, we are the children of Israel that the Bible speaks about. Because ain't no other race of people been in bondage for 400 years but us. So let's get to Genesis 15, verse 13. That's why it's important for us to come out here, to learn the Bible, to see what's going on. Because history is recording itself. And guess what? Bible prophecy is fulfilling itself, and you are a part of that Bible prophecy. Because you're the living proof of it. Go ahead, read that.
Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs.
So we strangers in this land that is not ours. The African American, where's our home at? If a war break out, where we gonna go? Who we gonna go to? Where's our army to fight for us? We don't have no guns. We don't have no missiles. We don't have no submarines. We don't have no ships. We don't have no aircraft that's dropping bombs on people. So we are definitely in a strange land. We the only people here in America that can't protect ourselves. What's his name? What's the Chow Yun? South Korea. What's his name? What's the president name? Kim Jong-il. America threatened him. You know what he said? You keep playing, Trump, and I'm gonna drop a bomb on your ass. That's what he said. Where's the African American at that can do that? Where's the Native American at that can do that? Where's the Latino at that can do that? Because Mexico ain't got no missiles to handle America. They already pushed them out their own backyard. Because this used to be Mexico. All the way to Canada. The Native Americans used to own all of this land. That's right. But they call you a wetback. Right? But where's our people at? We here in bondage. Just as the Bible said, and as America recognized in the HR 1242 law. Go ahead.
And shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
Didn't America just recognize us being in slavery for 400 years? Right. Read that one more time. Hold that. Go. You got it?
This bill establishes the 400 years of African American History Commission to develop and carry out activities throughout the United States to commemorate the 400th anniversary of the arrival of Africans in the English colonies at Port Comfort, Virginia in 1619.
So if you go and look up these ports, these were where the slave ships came in at. And America recognizes that we have the children of Israel in bondage right now in our hands. It said 400 years we gonna be in slavery. Look, the Edomite over there filming us. Go ahead.
Yeah, we see it.
Now read that one more time. No, this. Yeah, it's, man, history goes hand in hand with the Bible prophecy. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs.
So we in a land that's not ours. Go ahead.
And shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
So we serving our enemies 400 years. The African American has been here as slaves, as servants, as cattle. It's right here in the Bible. So now I want to show y'all what nations took part in our slavery. We're going to come back to that Genesis because that's heavy right there. Let's go to Joel 1. We're going to read 1 through 8 because it wasn't just the white man had his hand in us coming into slavery. You're going to find out the Arabs had their hands in it. And you're also going to find out that the Egyptians, the real Africans, had their hand in our slavery.
Joel chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
So this is talking about the northern and the southern kingdom. Judah and Israel. Go ahead.
I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
You see, he said he gonna bring all nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Because all nations took part in us going into captivity. You got the Chinese, the Japanese, the Arabs, the Armenians, the Grecians, the white man. All of these nations took part in us going into slavery. Go ahead. That's why he gonna bring them into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Because the judgment is coming on them, boy. I'm gonna get into it. Go ahead.
And will plead with them there for my people.
He said he gonna plead with them for my people. God's word is possessive. He said, I'm letting you know I'm coming for the children of Israel. Go ahead.
And for my heritage, Israel.
He said, my heritage. Ain't no spiritual Israel. He coming for the physical flesh of us. Go ahead.
Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
So we've been scattered among all nations. We worldwide, everywhere. And they parted his land. Did y'all know in 1948, the fake Jews declared themselves to be the state of Jerusalem, Israel. But they go by the name Jewish, which the suffix ISH means to be like. Israelis, yep. Because we call ourselves Israelites, they call themselves Israelis. We call ourselves Jews, they call themselves Jewish. Let you know that they trying to be like another nation, a race of people. Go ahead.
And they have cast lots for my people.
They cast lots for us. They bought and sold us on auction blocks. We was the first stock market. Did you get that? Black Friday, niggas on the black stock market. Go ahead.
And have given a boy for an harlot.
So they took the boys in these little sex farms. I want y'all to go watch that movie, that documentary, Goodbye Uncle Tom. It was banned in 1971 because it showed the slavery and how the so-called white man did us during the times of slavery. They took boys and raped them. Go ahead.
And sold a girl for wine.
They sell our women for wine. They do it today, but go ahead.
That they might drink.
That they might drink. Y'all seen that movie, what's that movie? Birth of a Nation. Y'all seen that movie. Go ahead. How they would come, take another man's wife, have sex with her, and then give her back. Man.
Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?
Tyre and Zidon. These are our Egyptian nations. The Hamitic people. Not Israelites. These are Egyptians. The real Africans. Because we not Africans.
And all the coasts of Palestine, will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head.
God said, if you repay me back, I'm going to pay you back double. Everything that you do to me, I'm going to give it back to you. Go ahead.
Because ye have taken my silver.
During the siege of 70 AD, they took the gold and the silver out of the temple. Go ahead.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things.
So they took all the goodly vessels of the Most High out of the temple. Go ahead.
The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem.
It said they took the northern and the southern kingdom. Go ahead.
Have ye sold unto the Grecians.
So these Arabs and these Egyptians, they sold us into the hand of the Grecians. When you look up who the Grecians are, that's Edom, the so-called white man, the Romans, the Greeks. This is who the Bible prophesied would take us into slavery. This is who took us into slavery. And this is who recognized our slavery today in America. 400 years. But it's right here. It's written. Bible prophecy is happening. And you the living proof. Can't nobody deny it. But go ahead.
That ye might remove them far from their border.
We was removed far from our borders on cargo slave ships. They said, oh, these African Americans, they lazy as hell. But why did you go all the way to Africa, halfway around the world, to get us and bring us over here on cargo slave ships? We worked in the cotton fields. We worked in the sugar mills and all of that. We built train tracks, railroads. We built up all of America. That's what the recognition of this bill was. So please go look up the HR 1242, because it recognized the African Americans as slaves and our contribution to this country as slaves. Go ahead.
Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. So the Most High God, he said, I'm going to raise them up. We are now being raised up. We're finding out who we are as a nation of people. Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. You are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel that this Bible speaks about, that this Bible prophesied about. Go ahead. That's it, verse 7.
No, keep going, brother.
And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah.
Wait, hold up. I told y'all the judgment is going to be great, because everything that the white man did to us is going to happen to him. Read that again. What God said he going to do to these Edomites, the Hamitic people, and the Arabs. Go ahead.
And I will sell your sons.
He said, I'm going to sell your sons into slavery. Right. That's why we out here to get our people. That's right. To tell you, thus saith the Lord. Because now, everything they done to us is going to happen to them. Y'all see the little white girl that shot up the school a couple of weeks back, right? Oh, wow. Oh, a couple of days ago. But I'm going to show you, hold that. Because I'm going to show y'all that that's Bible prophecy. That God said, as the children of Israel start to come back to keep my laws, statutes, and commandments, all the curses I put on you is going to happen to them. Let's hold that. Let's go to Deuteronomy 30 and verse 7. That's why we come out here to tell our people the truth. What thus saith the Lord out of the Bible. 30 and verse 7. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 7. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
Start at verse 6.
And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart.
So we gonna be circumcised. He gonna circumcise the seed of Abraham to love him with all our heart. Go ahead.
And with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses.
He said he gonna put all these curses on who?
Upon thine enemy.
On our enemies. Who bought us during the transatlantic slave trade? Who recognizing us as slaves, being in America 400 years? That's right. The white man. Donald Trump just put it in the law that we gonna recognize the 400 years of the black man's slavery, which includes the other nations, the Native Americans as well, because they are people. But go ahead.
And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
So these curses is happening to our enemies. You had a couple of months back, Las Vegas was shot up, a country concert. All of them Edomites died. This is Bible prophecy and it's happening more and more. You don't see no black man going into the swap meet where we congregate at and we buy and sell stuff at, shooting it up and killing hundreds of people. But you see white people going in schools, going in the movie theater, going in the mall, and killing their people. This Bible prophecy is happening. So now let's go back. Go back to that Joel. Go ahead.
Joel chapter 3, verse 8. And I will sell your sons and your daughters.
So they gonna be sold into slavery. The same thing that happened to us. The white man going into slavery. The Arabs is going into slavery. The Chinese going into slavery. All the other nations, they going in slavery. Go ahead.
And I will sell your sons and your daughters.
They gonna be sold into slavery the same way we was. They gonna get that. We gonna get that get back. Go ahead.
Into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians.
So they gonna be servants. They gonna be sold to another nation of people. Let's get that in Revelations 13:10. Let's get it. Because this the recompense of the white man. Go ahead, read that.
Revelations chapter 13, verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Where the white man going?
Captivity.
Captivity. Because they led us in captivity. They didn't want to do right by us. Now they got to go into captivity. Read that one more time. So our people will know. Go ahead.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
And do what?
He that killeth with the sword.
They killed us. Millions of us. Now what's going to happen to them? Go ahead.
Must be killed with the sword.
Oh, they going to be killed.
That's right.
Let's get Isaiah 14:21. Because Bible prophecy is happening. Oh, and I love it. Because the Bible speaks nothing but truth. It's a sad thing that our forefathers didn't teach us these laws, statutes, and commandments, and we had to go through this. But it's a blessing to come back into the law, statutes, and commandments. And now to see your enemies go through it. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children.
The Most High God said prepare slaughter for their children. They got to be punished. I'm going to show you what that slaughter is. Go ahead.
For the iniquity of their fathers.
He said for the iniquity of their fathers. Let's see what their fathers did. Hold that. Let's go to Habakkuk. Let's go to Micah 2:2. Because their fathers, man, they stole our land. They set up peace treaties against the Native Americans and killed them. Oh, we gonna sit down, we gonna smoke, we gonna eat, have you feeling good, and then they kill your whole family. And then they celebrate and they call it Thanksgiving. They put oil pipes over your land so when they bust, they destroy your crops and your water. Go ahead.
Micah chapter 2, verse 2. And they covet fields.
When they came to America, they covered the best fields. Now you see the Native Americans in the land where there is no good vegetation and it can't grow. They put them among the rocks.
Radiation land.
Yeah, radiation land that's contaminated. Go ahead.
And take them by violence.
They took them by violence. They killed whole families, whole generations. Not only did they do it to the Native Americans, but they did it to the African Americans. Our people fought in the war. They said, oh, well, we're going to use y'all as guinea pigs. The Tuskegee Syphilis Project. That was a 50-year-long project. They killed millions of our people through syphilis, through germ warfare. The same thing you see them doing today by spraying chemtrails. Taking our babies, putting them in Planned Parenthood, which they killing our babies. They take the fetus and they practice on that fetus. They take the blood of that baby and they, they go in the lab and they genetically modify things that would get us sick. Oh, that's germ warfare that y'all don't know about, people. Look up Agent Orange. Oh, Monsanto, because they killing our people today. When has anybody ever died from smoking weed? We don't condone the smoking of weed, but answer me this. When has anyone ever died from smoking a natural herb? It's because today's herbs ain't natural. They calling it flocking and all this other stuff, making the people go crazy when they smoke it. making them see demons run up and down the street? Oh, it's because they poisoning it. But go ahead.
In houses and take them away.
Oh, they took the houses of the Native Americans. They took the houses of the African Americans that they went to Africa and brought them over here on cargo slave ships. They took our land. Go ahead.
So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
And his heritage. What are they telling the indigenous people in this country today? They deporting them. They got ICE set up. Oh, deport all the illegals. Not only are they deporting the people who were supposed to inherit this land, they also deport African Americans as well. You don't got no green card, you gotta go. But this is what they did. They took our land and they oppressed a man and his heritage. Is that all of that? So now let's see what's supposed to happen to them when they oppress a man and his heritage. Let's go to Obadiah right quick. Let's go to Obadiah right quick. This is in the Bible. Because y'all always say, man, we can't do nothing. We can't fight. We marching. Martin Luther King marched. He had a gang of people march since the 60s. The same thing still happened to us. Why are we still fighting for the same rights? Oh, but the Bible says all we have to do is get it together. And the curses that's been put on us is going to be put on our enemies. Go ahead.
On verse 18.
Yeah, 18.
Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire.
It said we're going to be a fire. We're going to be a fire when we come together. Go ahead.
And the house of Joseph a flame. And the house of Esau for stubble.
It said the house of Joseph going to be a fire. And the what?
Joseph a flame.
And Joseph a flame. And the house of Esau for stubble. Esau is Edom in the Bible. The so-called white man. It's really red. Where's that image of Esau at? Can somebody hold that up? Because if you stand next to a white boy, you put a piece of paper next to him, you will see that the paper is white, but his complexion is pink, which is red according to the Bible. Go ahead.
And they shall kindle in them and devour them.
It said they're going to kindle in them and devour them. That means you're going to destroy these people. Go ahead.
And there shall be not any remaining of the house of Esau.
It ain't going to be no more of them remaining of the house of Esau. They all going to be put to death. Let's go to Ezekiel 25, verse 14. We're going to show you. Because they recognizing what they did to our people during the 400 years of slavery. Go ahead.
And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people, Israel.
He said he going to do this by the hand of his people, Israel, African Americans. You are the children of Israel according to this Bible. You are going to be able to lay your hands on your enemies. Go ahead.
And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury.
The Most High God, he said you're going to do in Edom according to my anger. So the anger that the Most High God has with the nation of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he said you're going to be able to do this. Go ahead.
And they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord God.
He said y'all going to know my vengeance when y'all start putting them to death. But you won't know it if you don't bow down and submit to the Most High God, your power. This is why we come out here and teach what thus saith the Lord according to the Bible. Because you go to church on Sunday, they give you 3 sermons. Health, wealth, and prosperity. Have that helped any of y'all? Because they tell you, pay your tithes, which that law is done away with. They tell you, pay your tithes before you take care of your household. But that ain't what the Bible teaches. But they tell you that. They're going to lie to you. So now let's go to Zechariah, because I want to show you. The Most High God said he going to fight against every nation that fought against us. He going to use you to do it. So ain't no peace. I'm glad Trump recognized this.
That's right.
Zechariah, we're going 14 and 1.
Zechariah 14, verse 1. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee.
It said, thy spoils shall be divided in the midst of thee. I want you to hold that. Because our spoils are going to be divided. We're going to leave with all the riches of America. Genesis 15:13. Because it said he going to judge this nation. How you doing, brother? You got a question? All right, all right. Hey, come back right quick. You got a question? All right, all right. I just want to let you know about your shirt, man. We gotta represent Yahweh Shai as the true God. We can't put no false images up saying that we believe in God, right? So somebody show him that image right quick. Because this is we out here to bring clarity to our people. Because we've been taught the image of Caesar Borgia for too long. And we trust in that lie. Nah, I want the other one. Caesar Borgia, look at that. That's who that is, a homosexual. Yeah, we got to take that off, brother. And we got to represent Yahweh Shai in his true image. We say we Christians, we got to know. You understand? So it ain't no attack on you, brother. It's a blessing for you to know who you are and who the real Messiah is. So let's read that. 15, start at verse 13 again.
Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
So we here in the land of our enemies, they afflicting us still, blacks, African Americans, Native Americans, Latinos still being killed by the police. Because I know y'all know in Anaheim, the police officer that fired that shot at them little kids, and he drug them into his yard, he got off scot-free because he was a police officer. Had that been anybody else that did that, he'd be locked up. But because this was a white man and he was a police officer and he broke the law, he got off scot-free. Trayvon Martin, scot-free. What's the dude that killed the Brown, what was his name? Michael Brown. He got off scot-free. But go ahead.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
He said he gonna judge that nation. So the judgment of the white man ain't gonna be sweet. That's why I'm going into it. Go ahead.
And afterward shall they come out with great substance.
Who gonna come out with great substance?
Israel.
Israel is gonna come out of America with great substance. That's why I'm glad Trump, the baloney looking man, recognized our 400 years of slavery. Because it lets you know that we are the children of Israel according to the Bible. Go ahead. No, finish reading that. That was it. Yeah, no. Oh, all right, yeah. We're going to come out with great substance. So now let's go back. Yep.
Zechariah chapter 14, verse 1. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle.
It's going to be a war. That's the Armageddon that's coming. Who going to lose in that war? Hold that. Yeah, let's go to Amos 1. Amos 1 and 9. It's the judgment of those nations that's going to be judged. Because I showed you that it wasn't just the white man that took us into captivity. It was the Arabs and the so-called Egyptians. All these nations had their hand in our captivity. But go ahead.
Amos chapter 1, verse 9. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof.
He said they ain't going to turn away their punishment. They going to get judged. He said they who lead into captivity, going into captivity. Go ahead.
Because they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom.
The Egyptians sold the Israelites to Edom, which is the so-called white man. That's why they going to get judged. Go ahead.
And remember not the brotherly covenant, but I will send a fire on the wall of Tyrus, which shall devour the palaces thereof.
So they gonna get that punishment. The Africans, they gonna get that punishment. Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom.
Now we're talking about the so-called white man. Edom, the red man. This is the real red man. Because they always call the Native Americans red. But when you go into the Bible, Edom means red. You can look these nations up. Edom, Idumea, and Esau. All these are the red people. Go ahead.
For 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I would not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually.
So they gonna get destroyed because they didn't have no mercy for us. Go ahead.
And he kept his wrath forever.
They still got their hand on our neck. They still killing us, murdering us, poisoning our water, our food supply. But go ahead. Yeah, now let's go back. Let's go back to that Zechariah 14. Go ahead.
For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity.
Them nations is going into captivity. Their houses gonna be rifled and their women gonna be ravished. The same way they did our women. They women gonna be ravished. So the destruction is coming to the white boy. It's coming to the Canaanites, the Africans, the Egyptians. It's coming to the Arabs. But go ahead.
And the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations.
So the Most High God, he said he gonna fight against those nations. So how is all the nations gonna get saved as your pastor be lying to you? Because what the Bible say, the Most High God gonna do?
Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle.
He said he gonna fight against all the nations that fought against the children of Israel. Go ahead.
And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal.
This is going to be a great war. Go ahead.
Yea, ye shall flee, like as ye fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. And the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee.
So the saints is going to be with the Most High. We're going to fight alongside the Most High. Let's fast forward a little bit. Let's go to verse 11. Read that.
And men,
go to 9. Go to 9.
Verse 9. And the Lord shall be king over all the earth. In that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one.
So it's going to be one Lord. The Most High God, through Yahweh Shai, is going to establish his kingdom with the children of Israel, the African Americans, the Latinos, and the Native Americans.
All the land shall be turned as a plain, from Geba to Rimmon south of Jerusalem, and it shall be lifted up and inhabited in her place, from Benjamin's gate unto the place of the first gate, unto the corner gate, and from the tower of Hananeel unto the king's wine presses. And men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited.
So we're going to be safely in our own land, but go ahead.
And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem.
He gonna fight everybody that fought against Jerusalem, which means the northern and the southern kingdom, the children of Israel. They gonna get their punishment. They gonna get their judgment, as the Bible speaks. Go ahead.
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
It said their flesh shall consume away. Have y'all ever seen somebody's flesh just disappear like that? It's gonna happen. The other nations are gonna get their judgment. Go ahead.
And their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth.
That's right.
And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together.
Wow. It said we're going to fight, we're going to destroy our enemies. And it also said again that we're going to take the wealth of all the nations again. So I'm glad Trump recognized the African Americans as the slaves being here for 400 years. Because it was Bible prophecy that was written that has come true, that has come to pass. Go ahead. Wait, read that one more time. Go ahead.
And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance.
So didn't the Bible prophecy in Genesis say we're going to take all the wealth of this nation and of the other nations? So go back there one more time, man. Because our people have to know and see and hear Bible prophecy. Because that was the end time prophecy I just spoke of. So if you're African American, Latino, Native American, and you feeling sorry for yourself, get in this word. Because if you don't keep God's commandments, he said, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. We don't want God's people to die by the sword. That's why we come out here, because he don't want you to die by the sword. He wants you to be awakened. He don't want you to suffer no more. He wants you to see the get back that he gonna have on your enemies.
That's right.
So read that. Start from the beginning. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
So we serving our enemies. We in a strange land 400 years. Just as Zechariah said, it's going to get into it. We're going to leave with the wealth of this country. Go ahead.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
So this nation is definitely going to be judged. They are going to be put to death. And ain't nothing you can do about it. You can't pray about it. You can't fast about it. But you can listen to prophecy about it. That's about it. Go ahead.
And afterward shall they come out with great substance.
We're going to leave with great substance. That means all the wealth of America. But you only going to get this if you're obedient to the Most High God. So now let's go back to that Zechariah.
Zechariah chapter 14, verse 14. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance.
So we're going to fight our enemies, and we're going to take all of their wealth.